Welcome back to another episode of Dynasty. I don't know if you can see anything different, but check out these videos. What's up, YouTube? About to shave off the corn stash. Check it out. Here we go. I can't believe it's going away, but the time has come. I've got to go back to work. It's my boy.
Hey, we're gonna put it in there, man. We're gonna get him looking good, clean as a whistle down to the gristle.
Getting iced by rice. Check him out on Instagram. Look at that. Dang. No more corn stash. That means I'm going back to work.
Be gone. Gone.
Thank God. I mean, honestly, he had his little shadow for like 2 months. He looks totally different to me.
Actually, now that I think about it, our new viewers have no idea what I look like without a mustache.
Oh my goodness. It's a whole new world.
Mind blown. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed that journey. I sure as heck did. I actually missed the corn stash, but it turns out it's time to go back to work. So
Fresh, clean shaven face. Thank you, Jesus. Yeah, so if you haven't liked this video, go ahead and put a thumbs up because you know it's going to be good. And subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to our channel. And make sure you share this with your friends, your family. Like Jimmy said last time, you never know who could need this and who could be encouraged and learn something new today.
So with that being said, we have an awesome topic we want to talk with y'all today about. We're going to cover a lot of things, but it all deals with that first month of living together after you get married. And we're going to end it with talking about how to have healthy fights/disagreements. I know everyone's jonesing to hear that one.
Yeah.
We talked about our dating life, we talked about our engagement life, and now we're easing into our marriage life.
Yeah, so I feel like for a lot of people that you're taking two completely different people and you're bringing them together. They're living together now. Like, there's going to be some adjustments, and it's not always going to be easy, and it's not always going to be the most natural. In fact, sometimes we have to kind of relearn how to live our lives and do our lives. But it can be the most beautiful thing when we learn not to be so into ourselves or so set in our ways, but we learn to adjust and we learn to adapt. So our first month together married was like nearly six.
It was sunshine and
6
roses.
years ago.
Sunshine and roses.
Yeah. It slowly but surely, time caught up and reality kicked in. We had work, we had life, we had busy schedules, and we had preferences. We had preferences as we moved in, and
like, for example, I like to sleep with a sleeping bag. Remember my green sleeping bag? So when I was in the military, I had a little green sleeping bag, part of my sleeping system that I had. And that's what I would sleep with, was my little green sleeping bag. And about a week before we got married, she started moving her stuff in. And the sleeping bag was one of the first things to disappear off of my bed.
Yeah, I always, when I would go over and visit him at his apartment, I would see this green sleeping bag on top of the comforter. And I would always wonder, why does he have a green sleeping bag on top of his bedding?
The idea was you never had to make your bed, which is something else we're going to talk about here too, making your bed. The idea was you never had to make your bed. Your bed was made. You just hopped out of bed, rolled your sleeping bag up, threw it under the bed, bing, bada, boom, bada, bing.
But that was the thing. He never rolled it up and put it under the bed, so I knew he used the sleeping bag.
But what was the point, though? Because I was just going to pull it out and use it anyway.
But what was the point of using that instead of bedding anyway?
I like the sleeping bag better. The polyester would get cold during the daytime, so when I would crawl into the bag, it would be nice and cold. Oh.
What a bachelor life. What a bachelor life. So I told him, I was like, so how's that going to work? You're going to be in your sleeping bag and I'm going to be under the covers or what? That's just weird. How's that going to work? But we figured it out and he realized.
I compromised. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, click this link and watch this video.
Yeah, we'll help you out a lot.
So I compromised and I put the sleeping bag away, but
I forgot about that. Oh my.
But that was, that was our introduction into living together was, me putting away things that I liked, her putting away certain things that she liked, and
or learning like what the other person prefers and like honoring them by doing it their way. I remember one of the first ways in doing that was that Jimmy has systems. He loves his systems. I'm more like, whatever, I'll pick this up and put it here or whatever. Whereas he has chapstick for like every like location of his life. He has it in his car. He has it in his pocket. He has it by the bed. He has so all
I have in your car.
in my car. So he
And
always
I like to use it a certain way.
a certain way. Oh my goodness, it's so peculiar. So I realized very soon that he was looking at me with these eyes.
I forgot.
Of
eyes of fire.
Eyes of fire. Yeah,
I was just glaring at her.
That will be a coin term for this vlog because we will talk about other eyes of fire. But his eyes of fire. But his eyes of fire were when I like to roll the chapstick all the way up.
And just...
Yeah. And he likes to roll it just to the edge. So you only use what you need.
That way it always stays flat and it also scrapes the gunk off your lips as well.
Well, okay, that's kind of gross. But what I think is I kind of liked it rounding out a little bit. But he likes it completely flat.
And I only like the blue chapstick.
Yeah, everything has a system. He likes a certain type of toothpaste, a certain, and I have my things too. I like, what do I like? I like not to have to cook. We both.
But she hates ordering takeout.
Yeah, I want a home cooked meal, but I don't want to cook it. And this guy definitely ain't cooking it.
No.
We had to learn how to fit into each other's life in this new stage of both of our lives. And so we realized, and there were certain things that I liked, like I liked the bed being made. And Jimmy, I don't think has ever made his bed in his entire life.
No, when I was in the military, I had to make my bed.
Oh, yes, that's true.
Also, when I went to the Citadel, I had to make my bed.
Yes. But the other 18 years of his life, he never had to make a bed. So
Dad?
What happened? I'm just kidding. But, I told him, I was like, I really like the bed made. And there were some days he was the last one in bed. And then there were some days I was the last one in bed. And so we kind of talked and we said, well, why don't whoever is the last one out of bed make the bed? Well, quickly, Jimmy learned how to get out of bed first. And so then I would have to make the bed.
Just my brain doesn't understand, like, why, the purpose of making a bed. You're just going to... Or that and the 10 pillows that had to get thrown on the bed a certain way. I don't...
Well, now we moved to a more minimalist approach. We have 2 pillows on our bed, and that's
4.
it.
No, we have 4.
Well, I'm talking about like the actual pillows you put on top of your sleeping pillows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it used to be like 6. But, he's a creature of comfort. And I like, like this order type, as much order as possible, that it makes me feel like, it just makes me feel organized.
I was actually telling someone the other day, everything I do, I plan my comfort. I plan it around my comfort. Like, how can I be the most comfortable while doing this?
Exactly. And then any task that I learned, any task Jimmy has to do, he wants to get it done as quickly as possible so then he could get back to his comfort.
So, for example, we'll give a great example. When Deborah and we finish up our day, we go upstairs. She likes to go straight to the bed and lay down. I like to brush my teeth, do all my oral hygiene, everything. And then when I get into the bed, I'm not getting out of the bed until the next day. Because that's just I don't want to interrupt my comfort to do a task. I want to get all my tasks done. So when I enter into comfort mode, I'm in comfort mode.
Exactly. I do end up getting back out of the bed and washing my face,
I don't understand.
brushing my teeth, all of that stuff. So we're very different and we had to learn. So first month of marriage, everything's great. Everything's going smooth. We're like, who said marriage was hard? Like, why is that a thing? Marriage is awesome. And then, boom, it happened. Our first real married fight. And I feel like they're different. We had disagreements dating and we dealt with them and we got through them healthily. And it was fine. There was no like, hashing it out or fighting it out. But it was like, now that we're like completely committed together to each other, you can't like just go to your room and text me or call me. Like, your room is now my room. Like, you have to lay on that side of the bed. So it's not like you could just, oh, sorry, I missed your text. Like, you can't do that,
I have fallen asleep. Remember that one time
you have to face it.
I did try to fall asleep one time. We had a disagreement. I tried to fall asleep. And you said, I know you're not falling asleep right now. I said, what are you talking about? Let's talk about it in the morning.
And so that leads us to some characteristics that are foreshadowing how we handled and responded to that fight. So that fight, very quickly.
What was it about?
I don't even know what it's about. It doesn't even make sense because that's not even the point.
Yeah.
It was just all the
it was
drama.
Just something so trivial, probably.
Probably something that didn't even really matter. I don't even know. But I could tell you right now, 100%, it was an unhealthy way of handling our disagreement. Mm-hmm. And so because we're so different and because we're having to learn how to mesh our two lives together, and it was going so good, and all of a sudden, boom, a little bump in the road. And then, I like to resolve any sort of disagreements before we go to sleep. Yeah, especially as soon as possible. If we could just get through it.
Me, I could care less. If a disagreement pops up, it is what it is. I like to maintain my peace.
Yes, he wants his peace, but his favorite quote is, if you want peace, prepare for war.
That's not my favorite quote.
That is your favorite quote.
No, it's not.
You put that on all your stuff.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
What do I put
it was on your Facebook, on your MySpace.
Oh my God, I was a motard. If you don't know what a motard is, actually, that might be politically incorrect to say, but a motard is a term you use in the, I know we use it in the Marine Corps. I don't know if you use it in all branches, but it's a motivated retard.
Yeah, he was a motivated retard the first several months of our marriage. No, I'm just kidding. But the point was, like, he would run, and quickly we had to realize that.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily run. When you say run, it makes it seem like I'm running away from you. No, me, I like my
He
peaceful,
literally ran out the house.
The Lord says you have authority over the winds and the waves, so I commanded the winds and the waves to stop, but that required me to go outside where there were no winds and waves.
I was the winds and waves. I had the fire in my eyes that night because
yes, you did.
I don't even know what
she had daggers in her hands.
That was his perception. That's totally not true. And so it was so funny because, when we were dating, I remember he couldn't even tell when I wasn't okay. Like unless I told him I'm not okay because this offended me.
Well, this applies to all men. If a woman says, you got to say what you mean, not say the opposite of what you mean. An important meme I saw early in our dating relationship was 5 deadly terms used by a woman. And I'm actually going to pull it up for you because this might save somebody here. The 5 deadly terms used by a woman is fine. This is the word women use to end the argument when she knows she is right and you need to be quiet. Number 2, nothing. This was a big help in our relationship. When a woman says nothing, means something and you need to be worried. Number 3, go ahead. This is a dare, not permission. Don't do it. Number 4, whatever. A woman's way of saying forget you. Number 5, that's okay. She is thinking long and hard on how and when you will pay for your mistake. And there was a bonus word, wow. This is not a compliment. She is amazed that one person could be so dumb.
A motard.
So in our beginning of our marriage, I had to learn these terms because not just Deborah, but all women like to say nothing. They say whatever. They say fine. So I take things as it is. If you tell me, hey, nothing's wrong, hey, nothing's wrong. If you tell me it's okay, hey, it's okay.
Oh, there you go. My piece is still
So
intact.
this particular night, I forget what it was. So I say, hey, is everything okay? Yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong? Nothing. Okay.
And immediately,
I say, okay, all right, I'm going to bed. I love you. Good night. And then that's when the dam broke and all that water came rushing in. All that pent up anger came bursting out.
no, it's not. I don't even know what it was about, but we had learned by that point that when I communicate in a certain body language, or yes, guys can't read our mind, girls can't read your mind, like we know all of that stuff, but sometimes there might be something deep down that's bothering somebody and it's hard to get out. But if you kind of get some signals that they're not okay, then if you care for them, you
need
should
to put the energy in.
You should put the energy in. And so Jimmy realized, that night, I think, that just putting a little bit energy would actually save him more energy. And so, you might be, facing that. And so that night when we had our first big disagreement, he ran. He was a withdrawer. That's his instinct, whereas my instinct is to pursue. I want to talk about it until we get through it so that I know we're good and I can actually sleep. I can't sleep if I don't know we're good. And so, he needed to understand my perspective and I his.
And we didn't understand this at the time.
We totally didn't get this. So I'm like, why is he running away? Does he not love me enough?
When she says run away, I walked out of the house because I needed to cool down.
Right. But to me, that was running away from our relationship. It was running away figuratively of what mattered to what I thought mattered to the both of us. And so to me, it hurt deeper. And to him, it was just like, oh, I just want my peace. Oh my goodness. I just want to get out of this place.
She was coming after me.
That's how he saw it. But I thought, if I don't go after him, who's gonna care?
So we had to learn how at that moment, because things were damaged in the house.
Okay, I did not throw plates. I did not throw.
In case you're wondering why I always wear long sleeves.
I did not throw an iron. None of that crazy stuff. All I did, I was trying to turn the light off at our house in our bedroom, but forcefully. And the little janky thing broke.
She tried to pull the ceiling fan out the ceiling.
No, I just wanted to turn the light off, and then so the little hanging chain broke a little bit. So I was like,
we never found it.
We never did find it. I don't even know what happened.
When
we moved.
I had to buy a new one.
Yeah, we even moved. We cleaned out the entire house.
We couldn't find it. We left it as it was while we lived there as a reminder
of what not to do. And I even believe that our worst argument is probably not as bad as a lot of other people.
Yeah, we hear stories of people fighting each other, like fighting.
Fist fighting. No, that's a definite no.
Yeah, that's a no.
So,
especially if you're a guy. No.
So I think let's break this down just a little bit into more of a point type thing so everyone understands. If you're having a disagreement and you really care about that person, you need to know what are your instincts. Is your instinct to withdraw? Is your instinct to pursue? And then you need to, kind of adjust accordingly. Like Jimmy, he realized the very next disagreement, I'm not going to walk out of the house because that communicated to me something fatal. And so for me, I needed to learn, I need to chill and kind of present it in a more calm and more approachable way instead of getting too passionate and too in my feelings. And so, sometimes it's not always the guy that is the clam or the one that likes to close up.
Because we have friends that are complete opposite.
Yeah, the guy could be the pursuer and the girl could be the one that withdraws. You just kind of have to know which one you are so that you can really respond accordingly. And then also always number 2, don't only see from your own point of view.
Yeah.
We've had to learn.
Yeah. So somebody told me once, when you're in an argument with your partner, your significant other, you're not fighting to win. The biggest thing for her and me were, putting ourselves in the other shoes, how we took what you said. You know, when you said this to me, this is what I saw, this is how I saw it, this is how I took it. And then the other person will say, well, this is not what I meant, this is what I really meant. And then if you can do that and both, you know, be humble and apologize. The biggest thing I think for guys is the pride, you know. I'm wrong. I'm going to let her tell me I'm wrong. I'm right. I'm the man of this house. You know, the biggest thing is put your pride to the side. I think that takes a bigger man to put his pride to the side and say, hey, baby, you know, I love you. You know, I married you. I forgive you. You forgive me. Let's move past this. Because you don't want to go to bed angry. You know?
Exactly.
You don't want to go to bed angry because the next day the feelings are there. And then if you don't resolve it, the quicker you resolve it, the easier it will be.
Coming from a creature of comfort. He's the king of comfort. He knows how to help you with your comfort. But this is the thing as well. Sometimes we might not even mean to, but we might trigger something in the other person. We've both been, you know, through some traumatic experiences. And I remember one time Jimmy was driving and I don't even remember he kind of went off the road just a tad bit. It was barely anything. But I had been in a horrible car accident. And, you know, fatal car accident, lost my brother and friend, and it triggered that trauma. And it was like the emotions just arose in me and it was like I was back in the car in the accident, you know. It took me back there. I had to explain to him, I'm sorry. I gotta calm down. I don't know why. I hadn't been triggered like that for a long time.
She had to apologize because she said something mean to me.
I don't even remember what I said, but I
don't remember either because I forgave you and love keeps no record of wrong.
Okay. That's true, but that ain't always true for all of us. But anyway, the point is that sometimes we can trigger each other. And there have been times I've triggered him, like taking him back to somewhere he didn't want to be. And maybe we don't even mean to do it, but we got to recognize like, oh, okay, I see what I did. That's definitely not what I mean. And so I had to realize he didn't mean to drive off the road a little bit. Like he didn't mean to do that. Like he didn't mean to take me back to that place. And, you know, and for him, it was like, why are you blaming me for this? But then when he came,
yelling at me?
When he came to the realization, like, okay, I know what it's like to be taken back somewhere I don't want to be. So I'm going to try to help the situation and not make it worse. And, you know, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. You know, I didn't mean to do that, but you got to understand, like, it's still not okay for you to be mean or for you to
say something.
And that's one thing we've learned very quickly is when you are in an argument, when you're in a disagreement or you've been triggered, whatever it is, you know, don't say the fatal stuff.
Yeah, don't say something that you know as soon as it leaves your mouth, it shouldn't have been said. Somebody told me once, they said, hey, I don't want to talk to you right now because I don't want to say something I'm going to regret.
Yeah. And like some of those things might be, you know, I never should have married you or
I hate you.
Yeah.
You know, or you
or you're just like your mom, you're just like your dad, you know, or something like that in a negative context, connotation.
Just anything that would hurt your relationship or even plant seeds. Because if I tell her, why'd I marry you? All you do is nag me. Then she's, you know, she goes out and some guy starts giving her attention. I planted seeds in her. And some guy's going to water those seeds. And they're going to take advantage of those seeds that I planted inside of her. So it's something you have to be careful what comes out of your mouth. Because if something comes out of your mouth, and you used to love telling me this all the time because I would say some off-the-wall stuff. You would always say, the abundance of your heart, your mouth speaks. And it really caught my attention. I'm like, wow, that's true. What's in your heart will come out. So you need, one, make sure, be careful what's in your heart. That's number one. And number two, be careful what comes out of your mouth.
Because you really don't mean it. You're just hurt.
Yeah, you're in your emotions at that point in time. You're in your feelings, and we all have said stuff while we're in our feelings and not mean it. It just came out because you're angry.
Yeah.
So that's really important. One of the fruits of the Spirit is self-control. So you really have to implement that self-control.
And y'all, when you're in a disagreement and like the person has already apologized, they see like, even if they did nothing wrong, maybe they just triggered you, or maybe they did do something wrong and they have genuinely apologized, you gotta let it go.
Let it go.
Stop brewing.
Let it go.
Stop building up these emotions.
Something.
But
Let it go.
But we know that if we don't let it go, we're just being petty. We're just making it worse. We're not really caring about the other person,
Yeah,
you know?
because remember, love keeps no record of wrongs.
Yeah, and you have to understand that that person really probably didn't mean to do anything wrong, especially if they truly, genuinely love you. They're not going to mean to hurt you. And if they did and they have apologized, you want to let it go and you want to move on and you want to choose to be happy. And that is very hard to do when your emotions are everywhere and telling you something else. And they're telling you, like, that person really doesn't care. They're just trying to say that because they want peace, or they just want, whatever. And, you have to say, no, that's not true. They did that. They used their energy. They apologized. They expressed. They did this. Maybe it's not natural for them, but they did that. So therefore, I need to let it go. And so that has helped us a lot. So now we rarely, like, I think, we can count on one hand the times that we've had an unhealthy disagreement. We have learned to have healthy agreements or disagreements where we can quickly get to a solution and then move on.
And really, guys, if you want a secret, I'll give you a secret. Just hug your wife and say, I'm sorry.
But what if the wife doesn't need to be hugged? What if she hates affection?
Well, then walk away. No, so somebody told me before I got married, they said a few things you can say, few things your wife wants to hear is, I'm sorry, I love you, forgive me. So
yeah,
those three things.
So just do that. Maybe your wife doesn't need a ton of affection. In fact, she would actually love if you don't continue to hug her.
Every woman wants a hug.
Not every woman. But you can just say, you know what? I'm sorry. I made that way too big of a deal than it needed to be. I'm sorry. I'm extra sometimes. That's all right. But thank you for loving me. Just realize that, we're all different.
Yep, that's absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We're all different. We all love different ways. So you got to learn the love languages of your partner, how they like to be loved, how you like to be loved, and how you need to love them.
Yeah, because
which will be a whole different.
Yeah.
And that'll be a whole different video. Maybe we'll talk about that next week. The love languages.
Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to our channel if you want to, stay updated with all of our future videos. Make sure you ring the bell if you want to get notified when we upload a new video every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a new Hong Dynasty vlog where we hope to encourage, empower you in having healthy, amazing relationships because they're very worth it.
And if you haven't yet, leave a comment down below on anything you want us to talk about and follow us on Instagram. We're going to leave our handles in the description below. That's it for now. Peace.